What's up, guys? Hope you had a fantastic weekend. Welcome back to another weekly analysis with the Winner Circle Trader. So we'll start here on the weekly chart, and not much has changed except we have now, swept the previous week high, kind of had a bearish reaction to it, and now we're kind of just, in an awkward spot here where, yes, the weekly candle did close bullish, but it's not really. I mean, if you look at this candle alone, it's not exactly the most bullish thing ever, right? I mean, the wick itself might be bigger than the actual candle, which I would never consider very decisive. Now, this can be seen in more detail here on the daily chart, where we can see that we tapped into a bearish daily fair value gap, the last one, and yeah, we've got quite a bearish reaction from that. We do still have a daily bullish fair value gap here, which has been respected so far. On the 4-hour chart, we can see that the relative equal highs that I mentioned in the previous weekly analysis as a target did get swept. We've had a very bearish reaction to it. And since here, I was actually quite bearish till this low, which I can explain on the 15-minute chart by simply drawing a trend line. Yes, a trend line. These are generated lows, which, basically I mentioned this in my Discord already on my daily analysis or trade recaps. But when you see lows in a line as clean as this, it's not a coincidence. These are generated lows, and I had them as a target for shorts on Friday. Now, I was trying to short to them in AM session. I didn't quite get the move, and it randomly just wanted to dump in lunch. So, there's nothing much anyone could have done if you were being disciplined. However, on the 4-hour chart here, since that sweep of the low, we have also had quite a bullish reaction to this 4-hour BPR. It also happens to match with, I believe. Okay, so even the daily fair value gap has been respected on top of that. And yeah, that's actually quite bullish. But do I already know whether or not this giant 4-hour BPR is gonna get disrespected yet? No, I don't. However, I can quite confidently mark this as a target, for Monday. Um, I don't actually know what's gonna happen this week, honestly. Last week I wanted to long, preferably with a sweep of these lows, which didn't really get swept. I also mentioned, you can check my weekly analysis from the previous week. I mentioned that, this is not a long signal, but if you did long here, it probably would work. And the obvious targets did get hit. I also mentioned if you were a high time frame trader, it would be the obvious thing to do. All right, so before we continue, I just wanted to point out that I am not a financial advisor. I am a student of ICT. I'm a student of trading, and I've just dedicated a lot of my time the previous year and a half to study how the market works. It is completely your decision whether you want to listen to me or not. Um, and yeah, I'm just doing this for educational purposes. And with that said, we can continue. All right. So here on the hourly chart, this pattern right here, it is such a high probability long pattern. Of course, you shouldn't be using it just randomly, but here it does make sense after we swept these lows. We're coming off of this giant hourly BPR, order block, everything. And it makes sense that after the candle closed up here, violating this fair value gap, creating a BPR, that we should just see price move up, sweep all these highs and yeah, continue to move up until this 4-hour fair value gap at least. All right. After that, again, I do not know what's going to happen this week. we could just see some chop around this area for a couple days. It is NFP on Friday. Before NFP, especially Wednesday onwards, I would be careful because a lot of times we just generate highs and lows that are meant to be swept by the NFP candle itself. And what that means is a lot of times you're going to be aiming for highs, aiming for lows with your trades, and they're just not going to hit because they're not meant to yet. So I would just advise everyone to be careful, especially Wednesday onwards. I would probably also just skip Thursday. So Thursday before NFP on Friday, I would just not trade. Also on Friday, until the news release at 8:30 a.m. EST, I will not be looking for any trades. I will even kind of wait until maybe 8:35, 8:40 to see, is there any structure? Has market shown us that it wants to chill out a little bit and just give us some good trades or not, and then I'll consider taking trades. So yeah, with that said, good luck everyone. Obviously I'm not gonna be, you know, trying to guess exactly what the price is gonna do here in the middle of the range again. Um I do see this being quite a bullish signature in price, but am I gonna full port long at open? No. Anyways, with that said, good luck to everyone. Follow your rules, follow your strategy, and use good risk. You'll be fine.